Awards are subjective in value, so you may believe some players on this list are more or less accomplished than others, but this list is mainly considering the overall weighing of their accolades up to the point of winning their first or only Finals MVP. In some cases, like we saw with Jaylen Brown, it seems to be the launching pad for a rising star, like historically how the Most Improved Player of the Year award has been given. We are already seeing a shift on the media and fan perception of Brown after the NBA Championship and Finals MVP. For the Finals MVP winners to have won the award multiple times, I'll only go over the playoffs in which they won their first Finals MVP, because we can see how winning the Finals MVP shaped their career after, and how highly we regard the player overall. Now, for the top 10 least accomplished players prior to winning Finals MVP. 10. Dwayne Wade's 2005-06 NBA Finals MVP. Wade was a rising star upon winning his only Finals MVP. He was a two-time All-Star, two-time All-NBA second team, one-time All-Defense second team up to that point. Wade's mainly only on this list simply because he was so young and didn't have the time yet to accumulate accolades. Wade won his first Finals MVP and NBA championship in only his third season. 9. Jaylen Brown's 2023-24 NBA Finals MVP. Jaylen Brown won his first and only Finals MVP so far this playoffs. While there was some controversy and debates around if Jason Tatum should have won it instead, history has already been written. Prior to the Finals MVP, Brown was a three-time All-Star, one-time All-NBA second team, and Eastern Conference Finals MVP. You would think Jaylen Brown would be higher on this list, given he didn't make All-NBA this year and was seen as a Robin to Jason Tatum last year, and even called the most overpaid player just last summer, but his career accolades is far from the worst so far to win the highly coveted Finals MVP. 8. Dennis Johnson's 1978-79 NBA Finals MVP. Dennis Johnson is a great example of an NBA Finals MVP kicking off a Hall of Fame career. Dennis Johnson won his first NBA championship and only Finals MVP in only his fourth season. Up to that point, he was a two-time All-Defense first team, one-time All-NBA second team, and two-time All-Star. He later went on to win 2 more NBA championships, 3 more All-Star appearances, 7 more All-Defense team appearances, and was even inducted into the Hall of Fame later. 7. Bill Walton's 1976-77 NBA Finals MVP. Rest in peace to the legend Bill Walton. Bill Walton was All-Defense first team one time, All-NBA second team one time, and one-time All-Star before winning his only Finals MVP with the Portland Trail Blazers. Incredibly, Bill Walton won the Finals MVP in only his third season and first playoffs. 6. Andre Iguodala's 2014-15 NBA Finals MVP. Andre Iguodala's Finals MVP was one of the most infamous ones ever, and only made some sense in the context of that specific final series, where they won the series only after starting him the last few games and becoming LeBron's primary defender to win the championship. Of course, historically, this basis of rewarding the Finals MVP was very different from cases in the past, and so criticism was fairly warranted. Up to the point where he won his only Finals MVP, Iguodala was a one-time All-Star, one-time All-Defense first team, and one-time All-Defense second team. He did win another 3 more championships with the Warriors, but his role only regressed further as he got older during their future title runs. If Iguodala does make the Hall of Fame, his Finals MVP would be the primary accolade that allowed it to happen, and ultimately changed the trajectory of his career and legacy. 5. Magic Johnson's first Finals MVP in the 1979-80 playoffs. Magic Johnson had a historic start to his career. He won the first of his 3 Finals MVP in just his rookie season. In his rookie season, he was already an All-Star and All-Star Game MVP, but it's fair to say the Finals MVP kicked off his career into one that's certainly near top 5 all time. Magic's only this high simply because he won Finals MVP in his rookie season, so there wasn't much time to win more accolades yet. 4. Joe Dumars' 1988-89 NBA Finals MVP. Joe Dumars' Hall of Fame career was kicked off with his lone Finals MVP. Prior to the Finals MVP, he only made the All-Defense first team once. Dumars was only in his 4th season at the time. He ended up making 6 All-Star games after, 3 All-NBA selections, 4 more All-Defense selections, and even won another NBA championship and ended up being inducted into the Hall of Fame later. But it was that Finals MVP that helped shape his career into more than just a defender, but a Hall of Fame star. 3. Kawhi Leonard's first NBA Finals MVP in the 2013-14 playoffs. Kawhi is the most famous modern example of the Finals MVP being used to kickstart a Hall of Fame career. Kawhi had a very interesting start to his career, primarily starting as a defensive specialist and the epitome of a 3-and-D wing. Kawhi, prior to his first Finals MVP, was only a one-time All-Defense second team member. That Finals MVP was initially seen as questionable, as the Spurs had much more known stars like Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili. Although they were much older, Kawhi did elevate even more after the Finals MVP. MVP and won his first Defensive Player of the Year the next season and became a two-way superstar and future Hall of Famer. Kawhi wasn't seen as the go-to guy on the Spurs at the time, but his finals numbers were impressive, and with context it makes sense why he won. But historically, it was one of the first cases where the go-to star of a championship team didn't just win Finals MVP. This could be seen as a modern-day door that opened for Iguodala and even Jaylen Brown's Finals MVPs. 2. Chauncey Billups 2003-04 NBA Finals MVP. Chauncey Billups really kickstarted his Hall of Fame career and perception about him. Prior to his lone Finals MVP, he had never won any accolade. The closest he got to an award at that point in his career was a 6th place finish for Most Improved Player of the Year in his 8th season. Billups did build off the Finals MVP and championship after though, making the All-Star game 5 times after, All-NBA second team once, All-NBA third team twice, All-Defense second team twice, and was recently inducted into the Hall of Fame now. But it was that Finals MVP that changed the perception of Billups as a star and completely changed his career trajectory and legacy.
He just got the ball rolling for us. You know, he took all the pressure off us and allowed us to play basketball. He commanded, everybody's attention and he led that team. So, that MVP was well deserved.
You averaged 21 and 5, shot 47% from 3, and won the Finals MVP.
Big shot.
She said his whole life flashed when the buzzer sounded. Talk about that, knowing you a champion.
Yeah, that was obviously my shining moment in my career. She would say the same, Rip would say the same, everybody would say the same, because that's how we played for the win. Mm-hmm. That's how I grew up in the game. Is you talk about going against other guys and competing against other guys and all those names you listed. The only thing as a point guard that matters is winning.
Right.
So if I win, say you got 28 and 12, I got 18 and 11, but I won. I won the matchup.
Yeah, by far.
That's how I'm built though.
Not even close.
You know what I mean? So all I cared about was winning. And I always felt like I could lead. I always felt like I could be a great player. And so in that moment, I validated that not only for myself, for everybody. So it was my shining moment. It was the best moment, my best sports moment of my life, was being able to win it. I didn't even care about the Finals MVP. I wasn't gunning for that. I just wanted to be a champion. I wasn't gunning for that at all. I didn't care about that. I wanted to be a champion.
You ain't that type of player, yeah.
No, I didn't care about that. I wanted to be a champion. So that was the best feeling in the world. It was the greatest.
1. Cedric Maxwell's 1980-81 NBA Finals MVP. Cedric Maxwell was snubbed for accolades like All-Star, especially early in his career, and actually never won any accolade prior to his only Finals MVP, strangely enough, and never finished with high votes for any award. He was in his 4th NBA season when he won the Finals MVP. The award didn't launch into a Hall of Fame career though, as even after the Finals MVP, he only won one more NBA championship after and no other award. He still managed to get his jersey number retired with the Celtics though for those achievements. Let me know in the comments which player you thought completely changed their career with the Finals MVP, or if you think Jaylen Brown will now be a future Hall of Famer too. If you liked the video, please remember to like and subscribe. Be sure to check out my other video detailing how the Timberwolves avoiding the sweep against the Mavericks in this year's Western Conference Finals prevented future 9-game series, or check out one of my other videos on the screen.